Yo, what's up guys, you're back with your man TechNick, your go-to guy for videos on the latest tech. Now today I have two monsters over here, and I'm sure that most of you guys know that I have taken the ZTE Axon 10 Pro and the OnePlus 7 Pro with me to Australia on my 2-week trip. I've taken an incredible amount of pictures and videos, and I've singled out the best ones to bring for you guys here. These are both incredible devices with amazing cameras, and let's go ahead and speak about the specs of these beasts. So on the ZTE Axon 10 Pro, we have a 48 megapixel Samsung GM1 sensor with an aperture of f1.7. This is not the IMX586 sensor, so it's not that great, but it still does the job pretty well. Then we have a 20 megapixel ultra wide sensor with an aperture of f2.2, which is pretty great. And then the third lens that we have is an 8 megapixel telephoto lens with an aperture of f2.4. All of these are paired with optical image stabilization, so that's good to see. Then on the OnePlus 7 Pro on the right hand side here, we have a 48 megapixel IMX586 sensor with a smaller aperture of f1.6, so it seems to allow to bring more light in as opposed to the Axon 10 Pro. Then we have a 60 megapixel ultra wide sensor and an 8 megapixel telephoto sensor, both paired with f2.2 and 2.4 respectively. This also is paired with optical image stabilization. So on paper, the Axon 10 Pro does have a higher megapixel count. And then on the selfie cam setup over here on the Axon 10 Pro, we have a 20 megapixel selfie cam with an aperture of f2.0, and on OnePlus 7 Pro we have a 60 megapixel selfie. So once again, on paper, the ZTE Axon 10 Pro does stack up the best over there. But guys, I want to see if the paper route matches up to the actual results. So without further ado guys, this is TechNick and let's go! Okay, so we're starting up with just a run-of-the-mill basic pictures over here. You can see that at the bottom I do indeed show the lenses, so these are the standard day pictures that you guys are seeing over here. OnePlus 7 Pro is on the left and the ZTE Axon 10 Pro is on the right. As you can see that the Axon 10 Pro tends to make the sky a little bit more blue in most scenarios, and it also handles a little bit of the sun a little bit nicer if you ask me. Now looking at like coming through the trees over there, you can actually see the Axon 10 Pro once again handling the light a bit better, and in a situation like this with the pool it looks pretty great. There you can see the blue sky on the Axon 10 Pro, and honestly guys, the sky does not look like that. It's more realistic on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Then moving on to ultra wide over here, you can see once again the Axon 10 Pro, due to AI, makes the sky a little bit bluer over there. But going into ultra wide, both of them take remarkable shots. I do tend to think that the OnePlus 7 Pro does pack a little bit more detail, especially when you look in the water over there underneath the bridge. And then moving on to the other shots guys, please feel free to pause anytime throughout this video to compare still by still if you want to, but there are over 100 photos over here just for day pics, just to let you guys know. So I'm going through the standard pic and the ultra wide pic side by side with the Axon 10 Pro and the OnePlus 7 Pro, which is on the left, Axon 10 Pro on the right over here, and just showing you guys that frame of view of the ultra wide perspective. Now I do think that the Axon 10 Pro does jump out quite a bit more, but you could see that the ultra wide sensor on the Axon 10 Pro, the light noise is just crazy over there, where the OnePlus 7 Pro seems to handle it a bit better. But honestly, most of these pictures look remarkably similar. You can actually see the OnePlus 7 Pro does a much better job over here, handling its light a lot better in standard picture and with the ultra wide feature on as well. And then once again over here, you can see the Axon 10 Pro, that crazy light noise coming from the sun is absolutely ridiculous. It makes the whole picture look washed. But going into more of a dull situation over here, everything looks pretty great. Now looking at an ocean view over here, going out there, you can see that the blue sky there on the Axon 10 Pro, it does look fantastic, but guys, that is not what it looks like. You can see that the sun is pretty controlled here quite well, but going into that ultra wide, you can see the noise coming from the Axon 10 Pro, as I was saying before guys, but blocking out that sun over there, and both of these pictures look stellar. But once again, I must say that the OnePlus 7 Pro does take a much clearer shot in realistic situations with absolutely no light noise whatsoever. But when there is no light noise, I actually do tend to prefer the Axon 10 Pro over here guys. It gives some pretty natural colors except for that bluish sky over there, but in some conditions it actually makes it look better if you ask me. But in this picture of the city skyscrapers over here, it looks absolutely awesome on all phones. I cannot tell you how excited I was to take pictures every day guys. My wife wanted to kill me. I was going absolutely bonkers with this, but I got some seriously epic pics in Surfers Paradise, on the Golden Coast, and in Byron Bay as well. So now we're starting with ultra wide over here, then we go into main, and now we're going to go into zoom. So this is the telephoto zoom. We both have 3 times optical zoom on both of these devices, and then showing you guys ultra wide again here. We're going to go for more of a zoom over here. So this is a standard pic here, and then we're going to jump into 3 times optical zoom over here, and then we're going to jump into 5 times. Now this is going into digital zoom, but still using that 8 megapixel lens, then 8 times digital zoom, and then jumping into 10 times. You can see that the Axon 10 Pro actually seems to handle things a little bit better. Now this is at SeaWorld in Australia over here, and this polar bear 3 times optical zoom looks absolutely stunning. Jumping into 10 times, you do see a loss in quality, but I actually tend to think that the Axon 10 Pro does a better job with its 10 times digital zoom, but OnePlus does a better job with its 3 times optical zoom. zoom over there. As you guys can see over here, watching this ferry boat over there, you can see that it is a much brighter shot on the 7 Pro, but the colors and the details seem to be a little bit better on the Axon 10 Pro. As you can see with these koalas here, once again over here. Now this is a red kangaroo. This is the most common one that all of you guys have come to know and love. And here is me, guys, in ultra wide view on a dock over here. This was actually my birthday. This was a great day. Had my wifey taking some snaps of me, and you guys can see portrait mode over here gets a little bit washed out on the Axon 10 Pro. And the reason why I say that at the bottom, if you check over there on the OnePlus 7 Pro, I do pair the 48 megapixel with the 8 megapixel telephoto because it seems like it is using hardware, where the Axon 10 Pro seems like it's only basing it on software, since it doesn't actually zoom into the shot when I do take a portrait shot, which makes it kind of, you could see the blurriness cuts around each object, which is the subject, compared to the background, where the OnePlus just does a superb job over there. And I do tend to think that the blurriness, now over here I did say that macro shots, guys, I wanted to bring macro shots up here just with one still over there. Go back and pause if you want to check it out again, but macro shots are terrible, even using the ultra wide over here. Now natural blur portrait over here, guys, meaning I did not put portrait blur on, but with these beer mugs over here, I did indeed go ahead and put portrait mode on, as well as these cups over here. Now we're going to just jump back into a couple of the normal stills over here. There's no portrait, there is no ultra wide shots over here. These are just plain raw stills on both devices. They look absolutely incredible here, but I do tend to think that the OnePlus 7 Pro does show a lot of detail. Look at me there with the kangaroo. That was an epic shot. I was so happy with that shot there, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys actually think of these pictures, not just the quality, but what do you guys think of these? These kangaroos are really awesome. We spent an hour or two with them and we had so much fun with them. And jumping straight back into Shark Bay, which is in SeaWorld, here's a wonderful pelican that we saw here, and you can see that the hair detail on them are incredible. Looking at these starfishes from different angles over here really show that the color on the Axon 10 Pro kind of throws away from what it actually looks like. Then we move on to the tea tree lakes, which is actually tea tree oils. If you guys ever go to Australia, you should definitely check these out. They're practically black and then like brownish when you start walking into it. And then going onto the beach sand, you guys can see the grains a little bit better on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Looking at some trees over here, definitely quality on the OnePlus 7 Pro there again. But sometimes you just see the Axon 10 Pro taking it out. Now I wanted to throw something different in here this time, guys. I've included some sunsets and sunrises, since we saw some incredible sunsets and sunrises. I did have ultra wide and I did have optical, but I decided to take them out because these just look absolutely beautiful the way that they are. The OnePlus 7 Pro actually hits a lot of light noise there for some reason. The Axon 10 Pro is doing a better job in sunsets and sunrises, I must say. It looks absolutely incredible, but with this shot over here, it tended to blue the sky out where it actually does not look like that. Now this is a sunrise over here by the light tower, and it looked absolutely amazing. You can see that it is a much brighter shot on the 7 Pro, as it does not suffer from that light noise in the background over there. Now this was coming back from our trip and I turned on night mode there. Look how amazing these clouds and the sunset looks there. Then we jumped into indoors and here is a telephoto shot, and then now we're going to go straight from the main sensor into night mode, and here is night mode over here, guys, in an indoor setting. And I think it does a really great job on the OnePlus 7 Pro. It does a good job on the Axon 10 Pro, but things get a lot brighter and a lot more detailed on the 7 Pro as opposed to the Axon 10 Pro. But the Axon 10 Pro does tend to get the detail, but sometimes it lacks a bit of the brightness. So if you see over here, we're going to jump into night mode. You can see how much brighter the shot looks on the OnePlus 7 Pro as opposed to the Axon 10 Pro, and the light noise is completely gone on the OnePlus 7 Pro, though it is still remaining on the Axon 10 Pro, and that is probably because the GM1 sensor, the Samsung GM1 sensor on the Axon 10 Pro is indeed a 12 megapixel hardware unit as opposed to the 48 megapixel hardware unit on the OnePlus 7 Pro. The Axon 10 Pro uses upscaling and the OnePlus 7 Pro uses binding to bind to 12 megapixels. Now this is another night mode shot in a dark room in SeaWorld here with a whole bunch of jellyfishes. Looked absolutely awesome, and going into the darkness here, you can see how incredible that OnePlus 7 Pro shot looks over there, guys. I cannot believe it. Going into each street, which is absolutely awesome. Now we are in complete darkness, guys. This is nice and dark and things are looking really great over here. You can see how everything is just, the colors are just popping, and as soon as you jump into that night mode, the OnePlus 7 Pro does wonders. And I must say the Axon 10 Pro does pretty great as well, but it does seem to lose some colors. But in this shot over here, the Axon 10 Pro does brilliantly with night mode over there, but you can still see that things are a bit brighter with the OnePlus 7 Pro on the left here, guys. And night mode over there, you can see that there's a little bit of cloud coverage coming over there at the top of the building. And looking at some lights here, the Axon 10 Pro does a much better job at handling the lights on this tree. And now once again, complete darkness over here, guys. This landscape looks absolutely stunning. You can see the light noise there on the Axon 10 Pro, and then as soon as we put night mode on, the light noise is reduced on both of them, but there is still a little bit of light noise on the Axon 10 Pro, though it is much better than we were doing those indoor shots earlier. Now the colors keep changing over here, so sorry if the colors do change. I tried to get them the same, but I could not. And then jumping on back to this wheel over here, guys, you can see that the pictures on both of these devices at night look absolutely stunning. There's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. If I had to pick a winner here, I would have to say it would be the OnePlus 7 Pro. It does a little bit of a better job when it comes to detail, though the Axon 10 Pro still does a superb job over here, guys. And looking at this, I love this little alley, and it looked absolutely incredible. Now moving on to footage here, guys. The Axon 10 Pro is limited to 30 FPS across the board, where the OnePlus 7 Pro can shoot 60 and 30 FPS at 4K and 1080p. So just to show you guys the smoothness over here on the OnePlus 7 Pro, then I just wanted to show you guys a quick clip of 30 FPS on the OnePlus 7 Pro as opposed to the Axon 10 Pro. You can still see that the Axon 10 Pro OIS does not really kick in at 4K over here. It is not present at all. And then jumping into 4K 60 FPS on the OnePlus 7 Pro again, you can just see how much more stable it is. It is really essential to have 60 FPS on a camera, and that is lacked on the Axon 10 Pro due to it not having an IMX586 sensor. I mean, look at the quality of the 4K 60 FPS on the OnePlus 7 Pro due to that IMX586 sensor, as opposed to the 30 FPS 4K on the Axon 10 Pro. It seems a little bit more dull, and then walking around you can see the stability becoming an issue with 30 FPS. And though there are many articles going around that 30 FPS 60 FPS, not much of a difference, but take a look at these shots here, guys. You can definitely see that it is a lot more stable on the OnePlus 7 Pro. And going into 1080p over here, 60 FPS on the OnePlus 7 Pro and 30 FPS on the Axon 10 Pro, you can just see I'm moving smoothly over here. I'm not juggling the camera around at the exact same time, and the Axon 10 Pro is very, very shaky, guys. I must say, on the video department, the Axon 10 Pro does not shine, especially due to that lack of 60 FPS mode, and the OnePlus 7 Pro just does an absolutely superb job, sometimes even better than my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus does, guys, and I took a lot of pics on that as well. So, I mean, you can see it looks great on both, but the smoothness of 60 FPS is just lacking over there, and these are some incredible videos, guys. We had such a joy when we were over there watching these guys doing backflips on jet skis. It was awesome, and the OnePlus 7 Pro captured it perfectly. Now going into nightlife over here, 60 FPS 4K on the OnePlus 7 Pro, 30 FPS 4K on the Axon 10 Pro. It's almost not visible on the Axon 10 Pro because of the night shots. And walking over here, you can see the stability issue again on the Axon 10 Pro. I must say, I'm a little bit disappointed. They could have used OIS a bit more in the 4K department. They have done a bit of a better job in the 1080p department over here. As you can see, it's a little bit more stable. But when comparing it side by side to the OnePlus 7 Pro, it looks like an old school device, guys. And by no means, these phones are amazing, and the Axon 10 Pro is almost half the price of the OnePlus 7 Pro, so you've got to give it that as well. Now, coming into slow motion, both of them have 240 FPS slow-mo options, but the Axon 10 Pro is limited to 720p, where the OnePlus 7 Pro has 1080p at 240 FPS, and that is because the OnePlus 7 Pro also offers 480 FPS at 720p resolution. So now both of these resolutions are exactly the same, though the resolution is the FPS is half as slow on the OnePlus 7 Pro. As you can see over here, these buckets look absolutely awesome, but even at 720p on the OnePlus 7 Pro, I must say, it looks streaks better than the one on the Axon 10 Pro. Once again, for slow-mo, neither of these devices are the best, as you can get 960 FPS and even 1920 FPS on the Nubia Red Magic 3 over there, guys, and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus with the 960, and those look absolutely superb compared to these. But the OnePlus 7 Pro still does a pretty decent job when it comes to slow motion, since you do have that option for 480 FPS and even Full HD 240 FPS, as opposed to the Axon 10 Pros limited to 240 FPS at just 720p. And looking at this is like a landscape view in SeaWorld, and there is a person on this dolphin here, believe it or not, and they're about to jump off of the dolphin, and this was absolutely amazing. You can see how much slower it is on the OnePlus 7 Pro because it is half the speed because of the 480 FPS as opposed to the 240 found on the Axon 10 Pro, and it looks clearer on the OnePlus 7 Pro even though the resolution is exactly the same. And I must say, the OnePlus 7 Pro definitely takes it when it comes to slow-mo comparisons as opposed to the Axon 10 Pro. But the Axon 10 Pro does shine in the picture department, that is for sure, guys. It is very close in the picture department. OnePlus 7 Pro is streaks ahead when it comes to video, 4K video, 1080p video, and especially slow motion video. As you guys can see over here, it is just, the quality is just not there on the Axon 10 Pro, and it is not as slow. They could have at least done Full HD 240 FPS, but that could have improved with an update, if not already, hopefully in the months to come, and I'll keep you guys posted on that. Moving over to the selfie cam, obviously we have that 60 megapixel shot on the 7 Pro and 20 megapixel selfie portrait on the Axon 10 Pro. And moving over to portrait modes over here, obviously they're both software implemented over here, guys, but you can see that the blurriness around the subject on the Axon 10 Pro, you just cannot miss that, guys. It is so crisp and clear on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and with a bad lighting situation over here, the OnePlus definitely handles it a lot better than the Axon 10 Pro. And going on to evening pics over here, and then jumping straight into video.
Hey, what's up guys? This is a 1080p selfie cam video test as well as a mic test on the OnePlus 7 Pro. Hey guys, this is a 1080p selfie camera test on the ZTE Axon 10 Pro. Let me know what you guys think of the mic quality.
So let me know what you guys think down below of the video quality of the selfie cam. And in this evening scene of the Axon 10 Pro, it's actually recording at 15 FPS, 1080p. I'm not sure why I did it at 15 FPS, but I just thought I'd let you guys know that as well. I did do multiple tests at night and it seems to be capped at that. Guys, these devices are absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter which you pick up. If you don't have the budget for the 7 Pro, the ZTE Axon 10 Pro still has one of the best cameras around. This camera setup is incredible. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. And until next time, guys, this is TechNick.